Happy halving, y'all. The Bitcoin halving is finally here, as you can tell in this countdown right here I have on my screen. By the time I'm done with this video and by the time you're watching it, it probably just passed. So in this video, I'm going to cover a bunch of different topics, news about the halving, what I think about Bitcoin. It's going to be really exciting, short and sweet, just for your enjoyment. So I encourage you to sit back, relax, and just keep on watching. Okay, hi everyone, I'm Kevin from Bitcoin for Beginners, and before I dive into these juicy news events and other topics related to the halving, I do want to thank the sponsors for this video, Crypto Rockets. I made a video about this crypto brokerage and trading platform before. You might have watched it. I'll link them at the end of this video and in a card up above as well. But they're a relatively new, easy to use crypto brokerage and trading platform that allows a lot of leverage and no KYC. And at the end of this video, after I cover all the different news topics and exciting events, we will also take a brief look at their platform yet again. So the first topic I want to talk about is how big Wall Street hedge fund and macro investors are moving into the space. Paul Tudor Jones buys Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation. He especially notes that all this money printing going on because of COVID, it's reminding him of the role gold played back in the 1970s. So he wants to hold a little bit in his portfolio. And this is from a tweet I saw on Twitter, but in his letter he wrote, "We're witnessing the great monetary inflation, an unprecedented expansion of every form of money, unlike anything the developed world has ever seen." This graph is from Zero Hedge, and they superimpose Bitcoin on top of gold. And this is the 1970s of when Paul Tudor Jones is talking about, right before the next big upswing in gold, in which may happen in Bitcoin too, fingers crossed. But especially the similarity and the analogs are what Paul Tudor Jones is talking about, because he says gold had just been productized as a futures instrument, just like Bitcoin recently, and had enjoyed a heck of a bull market, almost tripling in price. Then it corrected almost 50% in nearly 2 years, similar to Bitcoin's 28-month, 80% correction. So a lot of similarity there. Will it happen? Who knows? But as Bitcoin believers, I'm sure you and I both want this to happen. Another interesting fact is I see more and more newbies all around the space joining in, like Eddie Alvarez, a famous UFC and MMA fighter. He wrote that he finally jumped in and grabbed one Bitcoin. He can't sit on the sidelines any longer, and he needs some help with understanding what's going on. He tagged one of his friends also in the MMA and UFC space, which is pretty interesting. But also, when you see a lot of noobs coming in, that's something to be worried about, because that means we're near the macro top per se, and then there's going to be some pain for these new retail investors. So that's what my theory was, at least. But when I was talking to other people, some people also posited that that's not the case right now, since there's not a huge swell of retail interest yet. Like, this is the Wikipedia searches for Bitcoin. And back in the last bull market, if you're back around during that time like I was, you saw a huge spike in interest, but now it hasn't started to come up yet. So we're not quite there, and we don't have to worry about being near the top right now, which is good because it's nowhere near new all-time highs yet, right? Something else that's interesting that we've been chatting about quite a bit is the post-halving dump. A lot of people said in the prior halvings, there were significant dumps a little bit after, before finally engaging on a wild bull run. History doesn't always determine the future, but if that happens to be the case for whatever reason, then there may be a good time to enter additional Bitcoin positions and buy some more if there is a post-halving dump. On the other hand, though, I asked this question to our Facebook group just for fun: will there be a post-halving dump? The vast majority of people voted yes, and only a relatively small amount voted no. And this is the same on Bitcoin Twitter too, or on crypto Twitter rather. You see a lot of people talking about a post-halving dump. And so that made me think, like, if everyone believes the market will go one direction, then history has shown the market will go the opposite direction to make people more in pain as traders. So that was my hypothesis. But then someone pointed out a good fact, that I'm only asking people for these polls, or on Twitter per se, that have been in the space for a long time, like you and I, but rather the real retail newbies who just bought their first couple $100 of Bitcoin on Coinbase, for example. They're not understanding this. So there's a lot of pain that could be had for a post-halving dump for that group, which probably outnumbers us who are more entrenched and in here thinking about this day to day. Another interesting topic to think about is after the Bitcoin halving, miners will no longer be the biggest sellers of Bitcoin. And this is something that many analysts have been talking about, including Willy Woo, which is a fundamental analyst in the Bitcoin space. But the miners' revenue will decrease from 1800 BTC to 900 BTC on a daily basis. And so the mining sector will earn less and have less to dump on the market. And hence, it's the exchanges who earn Bitcoin from trading fees that will dump the Bitcoin or sell it, add selling pressure to the market to fund their operations per se. So that's interesting change that miners will cease to be the biggest sellers of Bitcoin. It will be the dawn of crypto exchange as the leading seller. Quite an interesting change in my opinion. Also, this is the current Bitcoin charts. I haven't refreshed it for like an hour, but we already see a pre-halving dump right here and around May 9th and May 10th a couple days ago. And so is this the pre-halving dump that will happen in and around the halving instead of post-halving? Who knows, but it'll be really interesting to see where that happens. Hopefully you'll have a little bit of capital left to deploy if we do get a dump so you can buy more. Not financial advice, of course. Another one is during that last dump, that pretty sharp drop, we saw Coinbase and other exchanges go offline again. This made a lot of people unhappy because like if you read on Twitter, on Reddit, they're like Coinbase has had several years since the last bull run to get everything fixed. And a lot of people believe in a more conspiracy theory per se, saying that they could fix it if they wanted to, but they don't want to for some nefarious reason or because they stand to benefit by halting trading during times of heavy volatility, which does kind of make sense. On another topic about Coinbase, sort of unrelated, is Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong posted this a few weeks ago in mid-April saying how there was a sharp spike in deposits of 1,200, which matched the stimulus check amount that a lot of Americans got. So a lot of people decided to go straight from the federal government deposits for the stimulus checks into their Coinbase accounts to buy Bitcoin as a hedge, kind of in the same manner that Paul Tudor Jones was thinking at the beginning of the video. Lastly, I want to note that Bitcoin has had a heck of a couple of years. Year to date in 2019, more gain than any other index or commodity or market. And in 2020, with its recent spike as well, also beating out everything else in terms of broader indices and markets and asset classes. But not only these 2 years, it's been the best performing asset, and maybe because it's a great store of value and a hard form of money, for the past decade. Look at this. Every year, they rank which one is the best by percentage gains. In only 2 years was Bitcoin not the number one option. 2018, which is a very bear market crypto winter, and 2014, which was before my time, but may have also been another crypto winter or Bitcoin winter per se. But this is undeniable. So happy. Here's to another great 4 years of the Bitcoin cycle until the next halving in 2024. And it will keep chugging along with no intervention and continue to get more evangelists like you and I to share with the world the benefits of this amazing form of digital assets. And finally, I just want to touch on Crypto Rocket once again. I showed you a demo last time in my video that I will link at the end of this video as well. So I'm not going to go into demo again, but they are a pretty new and promising crypto and other asset trading platform and brokerage. Very safe, simple, and fast. They offer up to 500x leverage. Definitely only use that if you know what you're doing. Just scrolling down a bit, here's some of the tight spreads and liquidity that they offer for different crypto pairs like Bitcoin, Dash, Ethereum, Litecoin, all the popular ones you could want. They offer trading for those pairs. And finally, they have MetaTrader 4, which is a very popular platform for these types of brokerages. They also offer mobile access and web access if you want to trade on your phone, desktop, anything. They can support that easily and seamlessly. Lastly, you should follow CryptoRocket.com. That's their Instagram handle. I'll leave the link down below in the description as well. On their Instagram, if you like technical analysis and want to follow along their market updates, like they give technical analysis about different notable pairs and what you can look out for. Maybe if you're a pretty active trader, this could be good insight for you so you can catch opportunities to go either way. That's the best part of this, right? Is with these brokerage platforms like Crypto Rocket, if there is a post-halving dump and you want to profit with that on the way going down, you can use their platform to do so by going short, whereas you can't really do that if you're just buying and holding. So something you want to consider. I will leave more links down below about cryptorocket.com for you to check out as well. I want to thank them for sponsoring this Bitcoin halving video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Bitcoin halving day. Give me a like if you like this, subscribe down below, and I'll catch you guys next time.